Before, my identity was completely in my appearance. Seeing another generation of young girls coming up and struggling with the same things that I struggled with. People will underrate you, but never be the one to underrate yourself. Whatever goes down must come back up. I am unstoppable.
Welcome to Reservations for Two, the podcast dedicated to your journey towards wellness and self-improvement. I'm Ruth, and in each episode we'll embark on a meaningful conversation exploring strategies, stories and insights that can empower you to lead a happier, healthier and more fulfilling life. So grab a seat and let's dive into this journey of self-discovery together.
I think the act of linking your wellness to your confidence often means recognizing the positive impact of taking care of yourself, your outlook on your self-esteem, and your overall sense of well-being. Now, the charm of life is recognizing that confidence is often a journey and not a destination. Now, join me today as I have a reservation with someone who has created the best guide for that. Hi guys, I am in the Ivy Victoria in the Pink Bar, sitting with the gorgeous Tiwalola Ogunlesi, about to have an amazing conversation.
Good morning, ladies. How are you?
Great,
Good morning.
Any breakfast for you? Ready to order?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, can I get the smoked salmon crumpet, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
And then may I get the buttermilk pancakes, please?
Strawberry sauce on the side.
Yes,
yeah?
please.
Any drinks for you?
May I get oat latte, please?
And can I get a green juice?
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
I thank you for joining me.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thank you for
This is
coming all
great.
the way to the Ivy in Victoria
Yes.
to join me for breakfast. I'm excited about this conversation.
Same.
Yeah?
Yes.
Oh, great. How are you feeling on a scale of, if I was to kind of put your wellness, your mental, emotional, physical wellness on a scale, where are we at?
Okay. That's a tricky question because it really depends on where I am in my menstrual cycle.
I 100% get that. I can
So
agree.
I'm having a bit of a low energy week, but in general, life is good, feeling
Yeah.
great. I'm on holiday next week, so
Nice.
I'm
Where are
like,
you
yes.
going?
I'm going to Ghana actually.
Oh my
for
god,
a
my
friend's
favorite
wedding.
place in the world.
Yes, I haven't been in a while. So yeah, I'm excited to
Literally
go.
my favorite place in the
Hopefully
world.
there's sun.
Yes, there will be.
Okay. And,
Guaranteed vitamin
yeah,
D.
yeah, exactly. So no, I'm feeling good.
Good.
How about you?
I'm feeling great.
Amazing.
I'm really excited. Like you said, it depends on where I am in my menstrual hormonal world, but I'm feeling really good. I've just come back from holiday, so I'm feeling really
Yeah,
excited.
you look fresh.
Thank
Got that
you.
holiday glow.
The holiday sun, the holiday
Yeah.
glow. It just does what it needs to do. This is why I know as soon as you come back from Ghana, you'll be great.
Yeah, exactly.
We're having a conversation today about confidence,
Yes.
because you are the confidence coach.
Thank you.
Our modern day leader in confidence. If I was to put your confidence at this very minute on a scale, where would you say it is?
Oh.
On a 1 to 10 scale.
Yeah, I give it a 10.
Give it a 10.
Yeah,
That's great.
right now. I mean, I have my moments when I'm not feeling very confident.
Yeah.
So maybe if you asked me like 2 weeks ago when I was in the middle of a storm, maybe
Yeah.
it was like at a 6. But today I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah, I'd give it a good 10.
What's your, I'd be really interested to know, because I feel like even with myself, I feel like a lot of people perceive me as confident, but I am really not.
Are you sure about that?
I'm on a journey.
Yes.
You know,
we
we have
all
our
are.
peaks and our
Yes.
valleys,
Yeah.
and I'm learning, I guess, how to hold on to the peaks a lot more when it comes to my confidence. What would you say is, like, in terms of your journey with confidence, how has that been from, you know, growing up? Is it a thing that has been instilled in you? Is it something that you have personally gone through and you've reached a point of where you're almost in survival mode and that's made you confident?
Yeah.
What has your personal journey been?
Yeah, it's actually been really interesting because a lot of people look at me and be like, oh, you must have been born like this, you know, but actually, no, that was not the case.
Yeah.
So I was actually a very insecure teenager. I felt very conscious about my body, and it wasn't like there was anything wrong with me. It was just like based on the images I saw and who I compared myself to, I never felt good enough. So the story in my head was like I wasn't skinny enough, I wasn't smart enough, even though I was doing really well in school. It's like, oh, I'm so boring, I don't have any skills, I don't have any talent. And that was kind of like the narrative in my head for the longest time. And it wasn't until I was, I think, 21. My mom gave me this book called 15 Laws of Growth by John Maxwell.
Amazing.
And in that book, he talks about how growth is something you have to be intentional about. Because I always thought like, oh, when I'm 25, I'll be making money, life will be good.
And then
literally, and then you get to 25 and you're like, wow, adulting is the ghetto. Nothing is going according to plan.
Get me out of here.
Get me out of here. So it was like, okay, that was a big wake up moment for me because I had never thought about what are my strengths. Like my identity was completely in my appearance, and that moment was a wake up moment for me to be like, no, there's so much more to me than what I look like. And so I went on a journey of discovering myself, like, who am I? How do I want to show up in the world? Who do I want to become? Because we always set goals for what we want to achieve, but we sometimes forget about setting goals for who we actually want to become. It's because it's the person you become that makes you achieve the goals that you want, you know? So I was like, okay, I'm very competitive. I'm an Aries. So I was like, hang on, I want to win in life. I don't want to be stuck with this negative mind. So I'm like, where are my tools? Where's my equipment? What do I need? And so I started learning and articulating my strengths and finding my passions and being intentional about living my life from a place of power. I call it my power circle, where my strengths, my passions, and my values come together. And that's where I live my life from. That like it influences the decisions I make, the actions that I take, like, you know, what I choose for my life, all of these great things. So it definitely was a very bumpy kind of start, but I think once I realized that I can master my mind, like I don't have to be stuck with a mind that's negative. I can actually program my mind to love me and to believe in me and to like be on this journey with me. Like my mind doesn't have to be a battlefield. And then when I stepped over to the other side, I was like, ooh, this is amazing. This is great over here. And then I was like, hang on a second, like not enough people are talking about this. So like I want to start talking about this, how great life can be when you love and believe in yourself. And so I crossed over. I never looked back. I've still had a few bumps in the road, but
as life,
right? But I still always go back to my core truth, knowing that I am always good enough, knowing that, you know, there's more to me than what I look like. I do have something to offer the world, and that's like kind of the foundation of my life now.
Yeah, and I think it's also really important to mention that for those who don't know, Tiwalola is an amazing author.
Oh yes.
She's written a book called Confident in Killing It.
Yes.
And I must say, I feel as though a question that I asked her at the start was, how does it feel being an author? And she said, well, it feels normal.
Yeah.
And I think that's your experience.
Yeah.
I think the reason I'm like, is because when you put something out there like that, of that magnitude into life, you almost now become the poster child for it. But you're also a human being. And you also have down days. And I was listening to one of your podcasts, and I remember you said something that along the lines of during COVID, Miss Rona was showing up.
Yes, she was.
And you were going through it.
Yeah.
And out of that, you've managed to do something really amazing. But again, you know, it falls back on you're a human being, and some days you don't always wake up feeling the most confident, the most self-assured, insecure. And I just want to know, when you are feeling that way, and when you've had your knocks and your setbacks, and you are still the poster child for confidence and showing up and showing out, how do you deal with that on a personal level, as well as a social level as well?
Such a good question. So I actually have a highlights on my Instagram called Struggles, because confidence is not perfectionism. There's a big difference, right? Confident people face the same amounts of insecurities. We face the fear. We face all the same struggles that non-confident people face. The key difference is we don't let our fears and insecurities get in the way of our dreams and our goals. That's the big difference. So I have my days where I'm literally on my sofa crying, thinking nothing is going according to plan, thinking that all of my work has been in vain. I'm not seeing the results I want to see, right? But then it's like I don't stay in that place for too long. Because I know that's an emotion, that's a moment, that's a feeling, and those feelings are going to pass. So at the core, I know that I'm going to allow and acknowledge this moment, but then I'm going to get up and get going again. And I think that's like a big difference. I always choose to be authentic and choose to be to show my good and my bad. So people don't think, oh, because I'm the poster child for confidence means that my life has to be perfect and everything always has to be great. So vulnerability is a big part of embracing like your strengths and your struggles.
Drinks are ready.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
2 green juices.
Amazing.
Thank you.
This is a cup for your green tea. Breakfast ready.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Pancake with strawberry sauce.
Ooh, this looks
Yum.
great.
Salmon crumpet with
Thank
avocado.
you. Great. I never shy away from sharing when I'm in my down moments. The difference between like being vulnerable and authentic online versus like oversharing is I'll often go quiet when I'm in the storm, but when I come out, I will share that I have been in the storm and this is what I did to help me get out of it. So I think it's really important that people realize like confidence isn't just that one perfect moment when you're in a suit and you're bossing it. Like, no, it's like a whole array of things, but it's like you go through it. It's not about will you get hit or not. It's about when you do get hit.
How do you react?
How do you react?
Yeah.
How do you bounce back?
Yeah.
And I think that's why a lot of people relate to me because I keep it real, I keep it authentic, and I never want people to just see my online profile and be like, oh, wow, she's so perfect. Like, no,
You're not
I'm
showing
not.
the highlight reel.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
I feel like, see, it's so funny that you're saying that because I feel as though my current state of mind is, and this is why when we were speaking before and I said, I don't know if I could class myself as a confident person, is because I'm learning now that feelings are fleeting. Because I'm the type that I could be having a really good day and be really like bossing it, being the best version of myself. And then it takes one thing.
Yeah.
It just takes that one thing to knock you right out. And once it does, my innate nature is that once it knocks me out, I'm so happy to just lay there. I'm happy to be laid out and just stay in that state. And I feel as though, again, like recently I'm learning or perhaps maybe unlearning. Holding on to that feeling and learning that feelings are fleeting, learning that it's okay for you to have a trip.
Of course.
And for it to just be that, a trip, but then you carry on walking.
Absolutely.
And I feel as though even kind of like in this current climate, so even with my story and like how I'm perhaps maybe pivoting into this new space, it's really, I'm going from a space of being super confident and having things, tangible things to show me why I should be confident in that space, to now entering a space of where I have to show up confident, but the tangible things to show me why I should be confident in that space haven't showed up yet. You know, so it's a real mind war right now. And again, just back to your book, there was a line that kind of reads, confronting your limitations. And I feel as though right now I'm dealing with a few limitations. Could they be limitations or are they things that I've made up in my mind? I don't know, but they feel like limitations to me. And confronting them, looking at them in the eye, squaring up to them and understanding that this is just a thing and I will overcome is so difficult right now for me personally. But also I know that, again, just even back to where you were at in COVID, you've definitely faced some limitations, even in your like life story.
It was such a crazy time for me because it was like December of 2019 was when I quit my full-time job.
What
and
was
I
you
was
doing?
like, I was working at an NGO that used media and technology to empower teenage girls living in developing countries.
Nice.
So it was definitely in alignment with Confident and Killing It. It wasn't like I felt stuck or I hated it. It was just more like my higher self was like, Tiwa, it's time to go. Like clearly my higher self knew something big was coming and needed me to be able to give confident and killing it my full attention.
Right.
So I felt this feeling like it's time to leave my job, And then I eventually quit in December of 2019. And I was like, you know what, let me just go back to Lagos, do dirty December. I'll come back in January and like figure it out.
Face it.
Yeah, because I didn't have any clients lined up. I didn't have any income lined up. I didn't even have a business plan.
Okay.
All I had was the case studies of me hosting events and people
goal?
coming. There was no goal at the time. It was just more like, I know I'm really good at helping women wake up to the greatness inside of them. So I was like, actually, I'm lying.
How
There
did you
is
get
a
that?
goal. Okay, so got to take it all the way back.
Let's take it all the way back.
Okay, so when I had like my wake up moment that I spoke about earlier, I got my first job in Oxford. After I graduated university, got my first job, moved to Oxford, and I absolutely hated that job. I was working for an engineering company selling like plastic caps and plugs and like PCB boards and things that go into fridges, which is just so not me, you know?
That's a life now.
Exactly,
No.
so different. But I just wanted the idea of, and this is the problem with goals, right? Sometimes we're so like, desperate to be like, I want to tick this box so badly that we just settle for whatever
100%.
and actually we end up somewhere where we don't want to be. So I was just like, I was so desperate to tick that box of, oh, I have a job. And so I took the first job that said yes to me, moved to Oxford, started working in this company, didn't know anyone there. And of course, I quickly found out that passion isn't something you just turn on for whatever it is in life. You're passionate about specific things because you care about them.
Yeah.
So to be in a marketing department of selling products I did not care about was literally my version of hell. And so I started feeling quite depressed at work, and I said to myself, I was like, there has to be more to my life than being stuck in a job that I hate. So let me start volunteering as a youth leader. So every Friday I would go volunteer and hang out with a group of teenage girls, and I would just ask them, like, you know, what do you want to get out of life? You know, how can I support you? And every single one of them mentioned something about confidence and not loving themselves and wanting to be more confident. And it really broke my heart because I remember when I was 16 and I didn't love myself, and it was like almost 10 years later, I'm seeing another generation of young girls coming up and struggling with the same things that I struggled with. So I was like, okay, something needs to be done. So I grabbed my phone and I recorded a video of how important it is to love and believe in yourself. And I was like, okay, I'm going to post this video on Instagram and just like share this message because I feel like young women need to hear this message. And so there, it was born out of like this identifying that there's a generational cycle of low self-esteem in women and girls, and like people just accept it in society, like, oh, it's just a thing. Teenage girls struggling with confidence, oh well, keep it moving. It's like, no, it doesn't have to be that way. And so the vision at that time was like, I want to create media and this message of self-love and confidence and believing in your greatness, and I want that message to go global. So, because I want every single woman and girl to love and believe in themselves. So that's how like the vision started, from that pain point, working as a youth leader in like a basement of a church, you know, and then I posted that video, and even though I was shaking when I posted it, like my negative thoughts were like, who do you think you are? This is so cringe. Or you think you're Oprah now? Like, you know, your voice is too deep to be on camera. Like your skin isn't clear enough. Like, this is cringe. Don't post it. Don't post it. And I was like, the message in me
It's too important.
It's too important.
Yeah.
It's so much more important than the fear of me having a spot on my face. Like, who even cares about that?
Who cares?
You know, like the message is so much more important. And that's the thing with fear, right? We often feel like the fear is so much bigger.
Yeah.
But what I've learned to do over the years is to shrink the fear, make the fear feel so insignificant compared to the action I need to take on the other side. So posted that video, started getting tons of messages, kept posting videos. So each kind of month I would post a video, and then I was like, oh, let me see if people will show up to actually hear me speak in real life. Like, it wasn't like I was like, oh, I'm a public speaker now. I was just like, hey, should we just all get together and let's talk about this message? And then like 200 people signed up in the first like 3 days of my first ever event. And then I was like, oh, there's something here. Let me just keep going. And so the vision evolves as you keep accepting the calling and keep taking action and keep going. And I think a lot of people kind of like, they can't see the full picture, so they get stuck in the present moment. But actually, clarity comes from taking action and moving forward. So it's like, okay, what's the next best thing to do after events? Oh, let me plan a university tour around the UK and go speak to students. That way I can build my portfolio as a speaker and build community. Okay, great, let's go. And then as I did that, I started getting paid, I started getting traction. And so that was all in the lead up to me quitting my job.
Yeah.
And so even though I didn't have a business plan or clients lined up, I had a case study, I had proof of concept, essentially. So
a vision.
and a vision. So I bet on that.
Yeah.
And so 2020 comes, I literally only had like 3 months worth of savings.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I give myself 3 months to get my shit together and get it moving.
Yeah.
And of course, 3 months was exactly when a lockdown happened, pandemic happened.
And everything shut down.
Everything shut. All the leads I was nurturing in my inbox, gone. Like a thief in the night. Like literally just gone. And it hit me hard because, you know, when you have a vision, and especially if you're a person of faith, you know, it's like when God gives you this vision, he's gonna like open the seas and everything is just gonna go and it's gonna be perfect.
Zoom. Yeah.
No, they're still struggling. In fact, the people who have those big visions go through the most. So actually, it's like, why do we think it's the straight road where we're just like driving in a convertible and the wind is blowing in our hair? Like, it's not that at all. Like, you know. Anyways, we forgive her for that.
We forgive her for that. She didn't know what she was doing.
So it was like, like it hit me really hard because like in my mind, it was going to be the most perfect year of my life. And then for me to be stuck there, no income, like no leads, no one wants to give me a chance, everything is shutting down, my whole business plan out the window. I was like, okay, I cried the tears, I had the wine and the popcorn, and you know, like it was a mess. But then I said, Tiwa, is this the story you want for yourself? That COVID happened, you lost a lot of your income and that was the end. And I was like, no, that's not the story I want for myself. And so I was like, okay, what is the story you want for yourself? And I was like, I want my story to be that COVID happened, but I bounced back and I'm building a brand that is going to be global. I want to impact women all over the world. I want Confident and Killing It to be a household name. And I wrote all of that down. And I put, whatever goes down must come back up. I am unstoppable. And I put it on my vision board, and every day in lockdown when my inbox was dry, when no one was reaching out to me, I was like, whatever goes down must come back up. I am unstoppable. And then the next question I asked myself was, okay, what do you have available to you right now to keep things going?
Your phone.
Right?
Yeah.
My hands. I have my phone. I can start running my own workshops. No one wants to book me for a workshop? Fine. I'll run my own workshop. I'll sell tickets. I'll make money. And so that's what I did. And so when people don't want to give you a chance, give yourself a chance. Create your own opportunities. And as I did that, I had like 500 women joining my Zoom sessions every Sunday in lockdown. And so I started a series called Killing It as an Entrepreneur, which is quite ironic because I was not killing it as an entrepreneur.
But we're going to fake it. Fake the fun.
No, not even that. It was like, okay, I'm going to invite other women who I feel are killing it in their field, and I'm going to invite them to have a conversation. And I'm going to talk to them, and we're going to share tips and tools on building confidence, on managing your money, on marketing, on, you know, being a Black woman as an entrepreneur, all of these things. And so by doing that, 500 women joining Zoom every Sunday to hear these conversations, guess what happens? They start to talk about the brand, they start to share, they start to recommend me for stuff. And by in March, when I had nothing, by December, I had worked with Google, TikTok, Deloitte, Morgan Stanley, like all of these brands that were on my vision board the year before.
Insane.
So yeah, that's the like, when life hits you, and like I said, one of my favorite words is unstoppable, because it's not about will you get hit or not. You will get hit.
Yeah,
like
that's life.
That's life, right? But it's like, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to focus on what's in your control, or are you going to just like feel like everything is so much bigger than you and you don't have a say and you don't have a choice? No, you always have a choice. But like, start small, do what you have available to you, and then trust that you know, it's going to move, like it's going to grow, it's going to expand.
I feel like this is speaking to me so much right now.
I'm
really, I was listening to one of your, I reposted it, one of your reels on Instagram, and you said, before you are rated,
yes,
you will be underrated.
Underrated, yeah.
And even just I was going to ask you, what is your current mantra that you are taking forward and that you are leaning on? But I feel as though I'm not going to ask you that, because I feel like you've just given one in the sense of whatever goes down must come back up, and that you are unstoppable. I think that is phenomenal. Again, just because of where I'm at in life right now, and I feel as though it's so easy to get knocked down by life, because life is just lifing sometimes. You know, she just has no behavior sometimes, and it's so easy to become distracted by the distraction that you forget that you are still on this journey, and you forget the goal, you forget the vision, you forget that literally it just takes one action after the other, and ultimately it's you're working towards proof of that concept that you have in your head. And I think to anyone who's watching that is currently struggling with their confidence, low self-esteem, or anything like that, it's so important to kind of hold on to that literally whatever goes down, it must come back up. Even if you literally hit rock bottom, it has to come back up, because there is no other direction for you to go in.
Absolutely.
And it's so important to just remember that also, even with people's perspectives and comments and how people take you. And I remember you were saying that when you started posting your videos, you were thinking, this is corny, no one's going to listen to this, no one's going to tune into this. This is where I'm at. You know, this is really where I'm at. But I have such a strong conviction in myself, as you did, with confidence and with championing confidence, that I have a strong conviction that I just want people to be better, people to be their best self, for you to understand what true wellness is in every state, in every ramification of the word, whether that be physical, emotional, mental. I just want everyone to get to a level of equilibrium with their wellness, where they understand that, you know, my wellness may look very different from your wellness, but so long as I'm feeling this sense of peace, even in the storms, it's going to be okay. And I think even when you add confidence to that, it's having confidence even through the storms, when you're shaky, or when, you know, things are happening to make you deflated. And like you said, even being a woman of faith, it's so hard. Especially because
so hard,
your confidence is not just in yourself, it's on the person that you have faith in, and he's telling you he's going to show up. But the truth of the matter is that he does show up, but just it may not be in the way that you have foreseen or the way that you've planned, but he does show up. Hence why I guess you were in March and like, what the heck is going on? And by December, I bet you didn't even realize that you were ticking off your goal list. You were kind of just going with the motion and going with the flow. And he's literally just like, everything's just turned around. And I think it's such an important, if anyone takes anything away from this, I think that's such an important takeaway. And I think, I love that. It's speaking so much to me, and I'm so grateful for this conversation as well. I am so grateful.
Another thing that I recently learned was, when it comes to like dealing with challenges, and the way to reframe it is, you almost can get excited to see like, and get curious as to like, what's going to come out of this. So it's like when you're going through a challenge, it's an opportunity to show yourself what you're truly made of. Right? So it's like, there's so much greatness inside of you, but it's like, okay, I often ask like, okay, who wants to be resilient? Everyone always puts their hand up. Okay, 100%. What does resilience actually mean?
And what does it
take? Exactly. It's like, it requires going through a challenge to then come out stronger. You know, it requires like, you know, being in difficult situations, but then having the mental, you know, determination to power through. And so in those moments, you can be like, okay, this is really challenging, but like, I want to see my superpowers come alive right now. I want to see like what greatness is in me that is going to jump out. Because when your back is against a wall, right, you have to, the only way is up, right? Like you said, you have to move forward. Yeah. So it's like, this is an opportunity to show me what I'm made of, to show me how capable I am. And I always say, knowledge and capability aren't the same thing, because just because you don't know how to do something doesn't mean you're not capable of doing it. Yeah. Like, I didn't know how to survive a pandemic before it happened as a business owner, right? Yeah. But then I did, because I had the skills and the strengths, I had the capability, right? I just didn't know how. So it's like, just because you don't know how to do something doesn't mean you should disqualify yourself from that thing. I have the concept of like, in my book, I talk about learning and leveling up, because instead of, and I always say like, I don't do fake it till you make it, right? Because I feel like fake it till you make it, you're inviting imposter syndrome into your life. Literally. Because think about what you're saying. You're like, I need to be somebody else to be accepted, like a fake version of myself. And it's like, that's just like, it's bad vibes. So I prefer learning and leveling up, because it's like, no matter where I find myself, I can learn, I can grow, and then it will be easier, and then I can hit the next level of my life. So it's like, okay, what if this challenge is here to grow me instead of break me? And the moment you start to see your challenge as something that can help you get to the next level of your life, it just gives you so much power over it.
I totally agree. And I think even like in this day and age of social media, where we were speaking about, you are someone who's very forthcoming with your struggles. Yeah. There are other people, especially there are more people that aren't so forthcoming, and especially in the world and the day and age of social media, where everyone is showing your highlight reel. And you can so easily fall into that cycle of comparison. And there was something that you said that I was listening to, you're literally comparing your struggles to somebody else's best self, or something along those lines. I've probably paraphrased it wrong, but it's so easy to do that, especially in this day and age. And you know, you gave a really, really good example of where, I guess, when you were starting out and you were comparing yourself to people that were like, say, on like 1 million followers or something like that. And literally, when you kind of like break it down and you talk about it, you just think that is so dumb. Like, why am I doing that? That
comparison doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't even, so, like, the maths just is not
it's not mathing. No. Like, I would compare myself to people who are 10 years ahead of me.
Yeah. Like, how?
How is that even possible? It's so
easy, especially because you do get the highlight package, and you don't see the work and the blood, sweat and tears that have gone behind it for those 10 years. But you just see the finished product that aligns with the finished product that you want for yourself. And then you kind of then start thinking, okay, so how do I get there in like 2.2 seconds when it's taken them 10 years?
Exactly.
And that can easily knock your confidence, and that can easily mess with your mental and emotional well-being as well. And I guess when that has happened to you, in terms of kind of getting back to that Zen place and taking away that stress and getting back to a state of relaxation, what is the things that you like? Have you done a face mask? Have you taken yourself, like, what's your go-to?
Face mask? No, because face mask is not going to help your negative thoughts go away. Okay, we have to get real sassy with it. So in chapter 2 of my book, I say it's called Get Sassy with the Mean Girl in Your Mind. So when comparison is telling you like, oh, everybody is so much ahead of you, like you're falling behind, what's the point? You can't just be like, oh, I'm just gonna like lie down and zen this thought out. I'm gonna
this out.
No, you can't. You actually have to face that thought head on and challenge it and get inquisitive. Like, okay, is this actually true that I'm the last and everyone is ahead of me? Right. No, it's not. There's 8 billion people on this planet. No one is on the same part of their journey on the same page at the exact same time. It doesn't work like that. When comparison is like, oh, it's too late for you to get started, or like, oh, you're not good enough, you don't tick all the boxes, look at them, they tick everything, they're perfect. You have to be like, hang on a second, like, I know who I am, I know what I'm capable of doing. I'm not going to compare myself. I'm going to focus on my own lane and do what I need to do. So I have these like comebacks. So when comparison tries to like derail me, I'm like, I'm like, hang on a second, you know? And I'm like, I know the truth. So I'm going to focus on the truth. And I feel like every single person needs like their armored chest or whatever of like comebacks and clapbacks, because when the negative thoughts come in, they come in guns blazing.
They do.
Right? And then I often compare it to like, imagine you're in a court case and your negative thoughts, your comparison wants to throw you in jail.
Right.
Okay? And your imposter syndrome wants to throw you in jail.
Right.
And you have to defend yourself, right? Or you and your lawyer.
You have to lawyer up.
And your lawyer comes in like holding a margarita, just like, hey guys, like, she's such a great girl, like just let her go.
Right.
And your negative thoughts and imposter syndrome comes with a whole case of all the times you've messed up, all the times everyone has been better than you, all the times you lied on your CV about something, right? Who are the judge and jury going to believe? The person with the facts or the person who just comes in with like happy, clappy, good vibes? Right? So sometimes in life, you need to start gathering the facts of your greatness. Like I have a monthly wins tracker. Every single month, I write down my small wins and my big wins, right? And it's a way, so for the past 2 years, I see all my wins every month. So whenever I'm feeling like I'm not making progress, I go back. And I look and I'm like, hang on, like, I've actually made a lot of progress.
It's so good to see it. Like, I think to take it out of your mind and get it in a tangible state where you can literally see like
it.
I can see you, I'm staring you in the eye and I know I'm doing great.
Yes, exactly.
Especially when your mind is telling you that you are just not doing nothing.
Exactly. And it's a lie, you know, but that's where our like insecurities come in, and then they're just so much louder than the truth of who we are. So it's like you owe it to yourself to like discover your truth and to have that ammunition ready, so when you're doubting yourself, you can go back and be like, no, actually I am killing it, I am good enough, and then you keep going. And
I think it's definitely like, it's so important on focusing on the small wins, because it's not every day and it's not every month that you're going to have a big win. However, if you're still in the battle, if you're still fighting, if you're still showing 100%. Up, you are still winning. And I think it's so important for, especially when we talk about like confidence and like your wellness and being able to maintain that stability of mind, it's so important to focus on the small wins, because it's the small wins that ultimately lead up to the big wins.
Exactly.
If you were to say anything, if you wanted someone to take away from this and be like, look, Tiwa said this and it is gold, what would you say? Oh
my God. Wait, in what context? Like I have gold in so many different...
If they were to be like, look, I'm struggling today. If someone's watching this and like, I'm struggling today. I'm having a really bad day. I'm trying to get to point A, or I'm trying to get to point Z, and I haven't even left point B. And they were really struggling in terms of like self-esteem, self-doubt, confidence. What's the one thing that you would say?
Okay.
Pressure.
It's not one thing, so I'm just going to say it. I'll say the process.
Say it.
First thing, write down what you think you're good at doing. So think of moments you were proud of yourself. What strengths did you demonstrate? Ask people who know you to tell you what they think some of your strengths are. Listen to the feedback from your manager or whoever around you. What's the positive feedback people give you? Start to write down your strengths and what you think you're good at doing. Don't worry if other people are better at that thing than you. It doesn't matter. Your strength is your strength. Focus on that. Once you've done that, it's then understanding, okay, I'm good enough. I think, okay, let me even rewind. What I would say to people is like, you are good enough. Your starting place is good enough. So my one kind of golden nugget is you matter simply because you exist. Your worth doesn't depend on how much money you have, where you were born, the color of your skin, you know, how popular you are. You matter simply because you exist. And so your starting place is that you are good enough. And you're on a journey to waking up and discovering more about you and to growing and to leveling up. So just start from there. You are good enough. Then look at, okay, what strengths do I have to equip me on this journey? And then I would say, follow the plan, not the mood. right?
Yeah.
Follow the plan, not the mood, because your mood is going to say stay in bed.
Right.
Don't get up right now.
And feelings are fleeting.
Feelings are fleeting,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Feelings are just energy in motion.
Right.
Right? They come and they go.
Yeah.
So when they come, acknowledge that they're there, articulate whatever you're feeling, write it down, say it out loud, never leave it in your head. Oh my gosh, never leave negative thoughts and feelings in your head. You can't process it in your head. You have to write it down.
Yeah.
And that's why journaling is so important. And then allow yourself to move forward. So just like, what's one step I can take? What's one next thing that I can do?
I feel like even just to kind of like round off and even add to that, I think an important part of confidence that a lot of people don't shout about, because confidence is usually, sometimes it can have quite a negative connotation, especially as a black female as well.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you could be told that you're too confident, so you shy away from saying certain things, you shy away from doing certain things. And I think it's also important to add on to confidence also looks like giving yourself grace.
Yeah.
It also looks like self-compassion. And it also looks like allowing yourself to mess up and knowing that, okay, well, we go again. The next day we just go again. And I think, you know, if someone is listening and they are having a bad day, alongside doing the practical things that you've just said, I think it's also important for you to pat yourself in the back and say, you know what, I'm here.
Yeah.
And I've made it thus far. So tomorrow I'm going to go one step again. And
Yeah.
it's okay if
Yeah.
today is a bit of a slow day.
Yeah.
It's okay if I just need to dust off a little bit more today, but tomorrow we go again. And yeah, I think that's the most important thing. And I really hope that whoever is listening gets on their confidence train and knows
Yeah.
that they are good enough.
Yeah, it's
Literally.
a journey,
It's a
you know.
journey.
And I always say self-compassion is a bigger motivating factor
Yeah.
than self-hate. When you do things from a place of love, it's easier.
Yeah.
There's a flow, there's a grace to it. So imagine you're like running a race. One person has a ton of bricks on their back. That's all the hate, the negativity, all of that. And another person has like a turbocharger boost pack, right? Who's going to get to the finish line? Like, you know, both of
Yeah.
them will run the race.
Right.
Right? And both of them will finish, but like, who's going to have a better experience?
Yeah.
Right? Clearly the person with the
Turbocharger
turbocharger.
bang.
Yeah. So it's like self-compassion is that turbocharger. It's like you love yourself enough to make better decisions for yourself. You know, it's like you see yourself as somebody who's good enough, who's worthy, and it's like, okay, what would like somebody who is good enough, what would they do in
Yeah.
this instance, you know? And it's like just living your life from a place of love and compassion and kindness, because like it's you and you for the rest of your life.
And the world is mean.
You know, the world is so mean, and that's why I said like people will underrate you, but never be the one to underrate yourself.
100%.
Like people will be negative towards you. They will doubt you. They will not
be the
believe
first
in
to
you.
tell you are not good enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's where we get it from.
Yeah.
That's where we learn that we're not good enough. It's the messages the world sends
Yeah.
is always telling us you need more of this.
Yeah.
You need to look like this. You need to
Yeah.
act like this. So we just think, oh wow, I need to get all of these things. That means the person I am right now isn't good enough. You know? And so it's like, yeah, all of these messages coming in, you need to be the one who's going to filter it out and be like, no, I am good enough, I am worthy enough, and live your life from that place.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's a good place to end.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do. I think that's such a good place to end. I think confidence, like you said, it is a journey. It's not a sprint. It's not a
Yeah.
marathon. It's not a
Yeah.
destination. It literally is a day by day thing, and it starts from self love. So I think that's such a lovely. Oh, this is so warm. I think this is such a great place.
Yeah,
I'm so happy.
absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having food with me. We
Yeah,
are
this
going
was
to
so
finish
yummy.
this off properly. And yeah, so thank you so much, guys.